Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you are already a subscriber. I'm gonna make a little bit of noise because I'm gonna move this stool just ever so slightly. But today we are gonna be going through my finished album, my first finished album at that. I am so beyond excited to flip through this with you guys. I'm so excited. So I want to kind of talk about it just for a sec. I started this album in 2015, at the beginning of 2015. And as I started physically doing pocket pages, which is what this is, this was like my first, you're going to get to see like kind of how it started. I was a smash booker before that. And then I went straight into pocket pages. I think I had done a couple like 12 by 12 type layouts prior to this, or smaller even. I really don't even, I think I have a couple of them stored away. But point being, I started this album with the intent to do pocket pages and start scrapbook life, start project life. So that was the vision. And then as the year picked up, work got very busy. I was in retail at the time, and I was in a management trainee program that was going to allow me to go out and manage my first store. So I was working a lot. I was basically going to school like through a training program, and then I was traveling quite a bit too. So, it was really chaotic, and I kind of set it down. I did it when I could. It wasn't the week by week structure. It was just kind of events as they happened, with a little bit of daily type stuff. And then in 2016, I went out to manage and broke up with the person that you're gonna see. He was my fiance, and we split up. We'll talk about that as well as we kind of like go through this, but so we split up in 2016, which isn't covered in this album, and I managed my own store, and I was very busy. I worked 60 plus hours a week, which was unnatural. And then from that point, I left the company. Again, we'll kind of like, you'll probably hear this story in various formats over time as I complete more albums. But essentially, I really didn't get time to work on this lovely project again very often. And then towards, I would say maybe September of this year, I was listening to more and more podcasts about scrapbooking, and I missed it a lot. And I have a ton of product that I stare at beautifully. And I think it was really funny. I was doing my Asana Rebel workout, and I was doing it for my living room. And while I was doing that, I was staring at all these beautiful supplies, and it was so inspirational to look at these supplies. And it's like, oh, I know it's in, I know it's in that drawer. I know what washi tape that collection's with. Gosh, that's so pretty. I love the flowers in that, or the bold colors in that. Like, it was inspiring to look at, which is really strange and something I had never really experienced before. I was kind of in a rut with my Hobonichi 5-year, and I don't know, the bug overtook me again, and I really haven't set it down. So even just trying to do a little bit as often as I can, and all of that. So that's enough of an intro, but essentially a lot of this is going to be, and I'll kind of walk you through those points of what was in real time versus where we make the big jump into this year, and how I knocked out the rest of the album, which is crazy. I think you'll be able to see a lot of it. And then we'll talk about kind of where this journey has led me and what the plan is. So things are going to be just a touch out of frame in the edges. This is basically, I'm going to climb up on this and see. This is about as far out as I can get with this camera. Sorry, I'm like climbing on a little stool that's next to me to try to see. But this is kind of as far out as I can go. If you have any questions, let me know. and we'll go from there because there's like a bunch of product and a bunch of stuff to cover. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I just really wanted to flip through it. I'm so proud of it. As you can see, like it's very full. Nothing else is going in here. So the last spread is Halloween, and I closed it out at that. And the new album will start with November of 2015. So excited. This thing is so chunky. So this is actually before 2015. This is in August of 2011. I worked for Victoria's Secret, and this was actually a picture that got taken during this event. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Victoria's Secret does, Pink Nation like became a thing, Pink became a thing, and these like little parties were always like after hours, and it was just really fun, and it was something new, and you had to be chosen, like your store had to be chosen. You didn't just get to throw it. It was really crazy. So this was a big deal, and I'm actually still friends with some of these people. Some of these people went on to be employees of mine when I was in retail, at other jobs. It's just crazy. So it's just fun to see the picture of us all at a different time and place in our lives. I think really all the ephemera was from the event or from stuff I had still. I always keep tags and things. And it was so much fun to like just do this collage. I want to say I did this in 2020. That spread was done in 2020 because I remember being home and doing it. These are all, oh no, my ink is doing something weird there. These are all done in 2015, real time, with the cat hair, it looks like. This album has been through a lot of moves, and I'm sure has some very battered moments throughout it. I have thought about going back and redoing some things, but part of me just kind of wants to leave it, to see the evolution, especially in this book, since it's obviously been going on for 6 years. You're gonna see how it started and then where it got to. So like I did all the lettering. It's like illegible. Basically, this is like one of my favorite quotes. And it's actually the quote that goes with the Philosophy Grace perfume. So this is also like my first like studio calico kit. What's funny is these stars, I had a small amount left over, and they're on the very last page, and I didn't even really think about that at the time. Again, everything's going to be kind of cut off just a touch, so I apologize in advance about that, but there's really nothing I can do about it. Let me see. How far out of frame are we really? I mean, I feel like you can get the gist, so I'll just, if I move something, God only knows what'll happen. So it looks like you're going to be able to see all the way to the edge of this one, but we're just going to miss like a little bitty baby corner of each of these spreads. So that's just kind of where we're at. And this was New Year's Eve, of 2014 into 15. So lots of this, I still have like a lot of these stamps and things, which is so crazy. I dyed my hair. Let me see if I can scooch this just a touch, because I'd almost rather cut off just a fraction, so at least you can maybe kind of see some more. We'll see how that goes. Again, I'm super sorry. I wish I could fit everything, but I feel like you are smart enough people that you can get the idea. So, these little flowers I actually made from Tim Holtz's giant die cut I have, and I just cut down a bunch of different pattern papers. Like, that's just even plain cardstock. That's so crazy to me, like, looking back how resourceful I was. And I had so much pattern paper, but this was like right as I start with kits. But I dyed my hair teal. Super crazy. I think it was January the 8th. I went to dinner with a friend of mine, Jojo. You'll see her in here. It was her birthday, and we went to Mellow Mushroom and ate dinner, and I was like, really like this chick's hair. Like, I really, really like this chick's hair. And I just kept saying it. And then the next time she saw me, I had that hair color. And she was like, oh my God, like, you weren't kidding. So that was really fun. This is so nostalgic. So Bongos isn't even there anymore. It was one of my favorite places in downtown Disney, which is now Disney Springs. It makes me so emotional just to even think about. I think this is, watch me be wrong. No, this is like a full-on booklet. I remember this, and it looks like I'm missing a sequin right there. But yeah, this is like a full-on little booklet I made. Oh, with the mistakes and all. Like, I guess because it was secret that I thought, okay, what the heck? Like, I don't care. This is gonna be really fun. So again, this is all pretty in real time. We went on a whim to Disney. Like, we literally woke up in the morning, drove from Macon, Georgia, all the way to Orlando so that I could try out to be Tinkerbell. I'm not kidding. No, I am not Tinkerbell, clearly. But I did not become Tinkerbell, and it was a very good experience. I would do it all over again if I were given the chance. It was such an amazing experience and drive, and just, I needed that. And Alfie was super supportive. Alfie was my ex-fiance. He is now happily married with 2 kids, I think they have. So yeah, he went on to live his life, and I'm doing my thing still. But this was one of our favorite spots, so we couldn't just stop and not go. This is Valentine's for us. I had to work, and I think he did too, so we went to like an early dinner. I want to say these spreads were 2020, so there's like a really huge gap where I did nothing. They might have been 19. It could be. I'm not 100% sure. I can usually gauge by my handwriting. But his birthday is shortly after that, and we, his family, so there's a restaurant there called The Rookery, and my parents had their first date there, so it's very integral in my life now that I'm an adult, and I waited until I was an adult to actually go eat there. And it's not the same anymore, I'll at least say that much, but still, oh my God, the fries were so good, and it was just amazing. And we took his family, or we met his family there for dinner that night so that we could kind of like share in the experience with them because they had never been. So that's what we did for his birthday. And that's just kind of a continuation of that. The next thing I documented was my birthday, which was actually crazy because those are the only photos I have from my birthday because my phone had a complete and total meltdown. I actually hand lettered these and cut them out. I'm pretty sure that's very apparent, and you can see I got really sassy and decided to like rip some paper, and I thought that I was really cool because I ripped paper. I'm really trying to like rack my brain as to when like I can remember doing these, but I can't remember what year it was. It really could have been like 19 maybe, 18, 19. But my phone had a meltdown, and we actually had to go to the Apple store there. This is us setting up our apartment, and if you notice, like, I went ahead and like typed this up in a computer and printed it out. I really want a typewriter, really bad. It's on my list. That and a sewing machine are 2 things that I really want. This is my old address, so I'm not really like that precious about it, because I haven't obviously lived there in ages. But I went to my friends, Preston and Leanna, got married. What made this particularly intriguing, and I talk about it here, is that I dressed them for their first date and then went on to be invited to their wedding, and they had a beautiful daughter, but I've known them pretty much since date number 1, which is really cool, and I was very honored to be invited to their wedding. And so there's just lots of cute pictures. I was having like some sinus issues, so I remember that my eye was red in some photos. I hate the handwriting on here so much, but I do feel like it kind of matched Bird's handwriting a little bit. Or that might be my handwriting. Not really sure. That looks more like someone else's handwriting, not mine. But this is my tattoo that is on my arm. It is Elvish. This is the quote. It is from the first Lord of the Rings movie. It is from the Fellowship of the Ring. And then it was a new shop, so I like threw his business card in there, but he has been tattooing for a long time and is kind of a nerd himself, so it was a super duper honor. Not the most flattering pictures, obviously, but it gets the point across. These are super cute Easter pictures. I can tell this is about the time I really got into hand lettering, so this is probably 2020-ish. And I was also watching a lot of Inky Quill again with her like doodle borders, so you'll see those pop up in a couple places. Mother's Day, and I love like the smudged moments, like the bad moments. I think those are kind of cool, where like it didn't stamp clean or hadn't really like learned that you have to prime a stamp first. I'm still not as confident with stamps as I want to be. But this is Mother's Day of 2015 with Alfie's family, and then we went to my mom's and had brunch. And those were actually strawberries she grew. Every year for Mother's Day, if we've had tiny tykes hang out for the winter, we let them go on Mother's Day. So in my mom's infinite nature, and she's not a nature girl, but she loves like all the little woodland creatures and things that hang out at the house. And we found out that these coaxed gray tree frogs were mating in her lily pond pools, and so she kind of like took on this responsibility of helping them grow up. So she would like separate them out at various stages so that they could get up and like actually grow instead of all dying in this pond. But if we have ones that hang out or aren't fully grown or ready to go out into the wild when it's cold, we keep them and we feed them flightless fruit flies, I think is what they are, and something else. I don't know what all she fed them. And then we would let them go. This is also when I discover a tiny attacher. But yeah, so these are pictures of all of the frogs. And of course then going to eat. So lots of bright, fun colors, a strange and wonderful place. And it really is like, it sounds so silly, but it is a little bit like Mrs. Honey's house from Matilda, if you've ever seen that. It reminds me a lot of that and Alice in Wonderland mixed together. It's a little kooky, not very scary. And then Mrs. Honey's house, like very cute and quaint. Lots of washi too. Full color madness, and we've got the doodle border thing happening. My mega date stamp from Studio Calico came. This is our trip to Miami in May of that year. So these are just some of the like little pamphlets and things that I didn't really like fit anywhere. His parents, or his dad, grew up bowling with a bunch of high school buddies, and they had a team. And every year in May, there's usually a tournament somewhere in Florida. And we all travel to be together, and it's a little bit like their high school reunion mixed with a family reunion. It's a lot of loud. because everyone is Cuban, Italian, Spanish. It's very loud. It's very fun. Everyone brings everything from kids to grandkids, and it's just so many people. It's absurd. But we had a blast. We went from, this was actually in Gainesville. So we drove from Macon, Georgia to Gainesville, Florida, which I didn't know is where, where University of Georgia is, or University of Florida is, I'm sorry. And so it was a college town. We didn't even know that the college was literally right across the street from the hotel we were staying at. And had a blast. It was wonderful. And we were just like exploring, and there was this giant, literally this dog was giant. I don't know what kind of dog he was. He was freaking huge. And then this is just a really big picture of a family dinner cut down. I was also into stamping and then like ripping off of like package paper. That was really fun. I went through that phase for sure. Lots of Maggie Holmes through here I'm seeing, and like Dear Lizzie type of vibes. So this is the college, and we went to the swamp, which is what they call the arena. Is that the right word? The stadium, sorry, the stadium for the Florida Gators. They call it the swamp. So we went there. Lots of sequins. So sequins were my pre-enamel dot phase, and I still have like the same big bucket, and I'm not completely opposed to going back to sequins either. My new thing, we'll get to that, is my hole punch and I with glitter paper. That's a huge thing right now. This is the next day and our last day. We were kind of exploring a little bit more. Found this cute coffee shop that did like the whole fancy, you know, heart in your coffee thing, which is super cute. I don't think I have like any flippy elements for a little bit. We officially got to Miami, and his grandmother has a condo there, and she also has a bakery there. So she's very Miami and very Spanish and like traditional Spanish, but makes amazing Cuban food. She met her Italian husband in Cuba while they were both there together. Again, more stamping. That's so crazy that like all my stamping is like kind of wonky here. I don't even know what's on that card. It looks like gold smudged or something. So wild. Not pretty at all. I very distinctly remember making these. I want to say in 18 or even 19. So I was at Jeff's house and he was away. If I looked up pictures, I could probably find it. But this is like the Good Vibes collection, which I think they've re-released now, which is super cool. And I just definitely bought more of. These are beautiful pictures. And the card says, "Today was a bad day. I passed out from heat stroke." And so there's a story all about that. And my inner, I guess, pop culture nerd was really excited to go to Dash because there are only ones in Miami, California, and New York. So I was really excited and definitely wanted to go. And I bought lots of like little things, like inexpensive things. And then I did buy a t-shirt, and it was super fun. Then we've got, oh, and I got sick. So being sick in Miami is not picturesque, FYI. His niece came on the trip with a cold, and then we were all shut up in this little condo together once we got to Miami, and that was just the end of that. That was a very quick downhill slope, so I got very sick. Then this is us like taking kind of our final pictures and heading to Orlando. I don't know. Yeah, I think we did, like we stopped in Orlando. I don't know that I want to say we stayed overnight. I'm trying to remember. But if you look, you can see all the construction for Disney Springs as it's starting to kind of manifest. So when my fiance and I were together, we usually went to Orlando twice a year. We would go in May when the bowling tournament would happen, because usually it was never really that far. One year was actually in Orlando as well, so we've had that happen. And then we would go again at some other point. In 2015, we went to Halloween Horror Nights, which was was it my first? Second trip. So we kind of had a thing going. So I really enjoy seeing the pictures of that place evolve as well. Because it's somewhere that I go every year, and to watch it change reminds me that it's okay when I'm changing, and somehow it's like the outward reflection of that the world is continuing to move on, and that like I can't hang on to everything. I can't I can't bar them from tearing down bongos. Like, it's not bongos anymore. And like, I think that club is being like renamed. I think it's already been renamed and redone. And it's just weird. It's just, like I said, the outward reality of everything is changing, and we are growing up. It is growing up. It's okay. And it's also really strange to happen in a place that encourages you not to grow up. So it's mentally very interesting. Very meta. Is that the right word? This is a very like homey colors, and I actually did this from, I think all of this literally like from maybe here on like was done in one weekend in either like 18 or 19. And it was just like us coming home. We have a thing of always kind of going to Longhorn when we come back from Orlando. Like we've usually been in the car for a really long time and not really stopped to eat. So it's really nice to like stop and eat. This is Jojo and all of her kooky crazy. And I did this so that I could post it on her birthday, I think. But this was a lot of fun using all her collection stuff. It kind of reminded me of her the moment I bought it. So I love that. On the back side is this frog that got in the store, and everyone thought like, oh, I was the most qualified because of my mother's skills. So it's just little pictures of the frog. It's done kind of like field note style. I go back and forth of whether I like the cursive kind of off to the side or not. I kind of wish I had just done like print or something. I don't really love my cursive. Then we just kind of have some random foodie moments, nothing super crazy. I'm playing with some different writing styles. Again, I want to say I worked for Chris when I did this. I don't remember when I did this. This might have been towards the end of last year, or not. It would have been before I moved out, because I remember it being on I can usually remember like where I crafted something. So like I know I was at my desk for these because I remember doing the paint splatters. So that would have been 2020. Same with this. I think I did the 3 of these almost like back to back to back. And I think this one got included too. So this is 4th of July. And then Cow Appreciation Day used to be like a super big deal in our household. My mom would dress up full on cow and hit like 4 or 5. It was absurd. And then there's just kind of like random daily pictures. And it just happened to work out that like there was red in that and my cup was blue. So it really worked with everything. Again, this style is definitely not weekly. It was very event-based at the time, and it kind of, my scrapbooking will continue that way up until I probably hit October of this year when I catch all that up, and I'll talk about how that's going to happen. Also, taking a brief moment of pause. Okay, so I started in 2015 and I established that I didn't want to miss all this, that I really did want to go back and do it. But I also had to be realistic that life is continuing, and I've got 6 years of scrapbooking to meet with now, and I do other projects. So it was like, but this brings me so much joy to even look back on the photos and have them in a tangible way and not in a computer. So I was fine with it. And I know people have asked me in the past, well, how do you feel about scrapbooking, like a relationship that you're not in at all anymore, and how does that work? And I'll have to scrapbook Alfie and then my relationship with Aaron before I get to current. And I always kind of say the same thing, that it's life and it happened, but it also almost works as like a therapy, because I can know what was happening like behind the scenes in a lot of these photos, that like even though the pictures look really happy, I know the side stories of what's going on. So I'm really trying to make sure to represent both sides of that while I go back. And I also feel like I needed a good amount of space. So I know some people have been like, okay, well, I broke up with my boyfriend, I don't now want to scrapbook those photos. You will at some point get there, or will probably. I don't know. I'm not a professional therapist in any way, or I cannot advise on that, you know, from a medical perspective. But I just know it worked really well for me, and that I would do it again if I was given the opportunity. And I'm going to continue scrapbooking older memories. I'm fine with that. There's even some photos that are much older that I do intend to go back and do at some point, that are my nephews, who are now like 10 and 13. So it's like I have plenty of old memories to go back and do. So yeah, this is when I traveled to Johnson City, Tennessee, to watch my friend's, Kristen's store. She had gone off to manage. We did not get along before she left, but she wanted me, and only me, to come babysit her store. We came from the same store, obviously. And so I went to babysit her store. I did it 2 times. I think I very carefully, I think it's all just kind of like bunched together, but while I was there, the Pretty Little Liars season finale, or not series finale, I need to go back and redo this label. It wasn't the finale, it was when A got announced, finally. And so I literally got a pizza and stayed in the room that night and made sure I was available for that. And it's funny because I discovered what would become my favorite nail polish brand of all time on that trip. So excited. Hate that it got discontinued. Have a ton of polish from them. It's called X Formula. I loved them. I thankfully stockpiled a lot of it whenever Tuesday morning got it. But lots of Maggie Holmes and kind of Pretty and little baby Nolan. And then this is just me having little moments in her store. And I had like the worst luck the whole time, because my car needed new spark plugs. Thankfully her husband put them in. And then the last day I backed into this giant, like you can't miss it, dumpster. And my grandfather had a heart attack and was in the hospital, and he had fallen the week before, so he was already at the hospital. They just moved him to a different place. It was a very chaotic like exit from Johnson City both trips, so it was not smooth. This is the lovely rookery. I don't know if there's like a glare, but I'll try to move it a little bit. This is really kind of fun. These little like 1, 2, 3 are actually popped off the page. I cut them out from like a 4x6 card, I think, that had them, and I just cut them out and used them as ephemera over top of this, which I really like. This is my final call. My final MT call. So if you look, I look like I'm crying because I was crying. Half of us were crying on that call, because we had all been through like the program. And once you finish the program, you wait to find out if you're going to go to management, what's it called? Leadership Academy. And you find out when you're going to go, if you're going to go, if you've got to do like more, say, like they kind of grade you, as it were, and pass or fail you, and kind of decide what to do with you. So yeah, And then Alfie got me flowers, and I was obsessed with Angry Orchard at the time. Also very obsessed with these 2 cupcakes from Small Cakes. One was called the Bee's Knees, and it was like hummingbird cake, and it was so good. And the frosting was like grainy, like homemade grainy frosting. And then I love golden cake with chocolate frosting, and that's what that is. Super obsessed with Mellow at the time, and they had like a lunch size calzone, which was great. This is straight up 2020. Oh no, because I did that at Jeff's table. This would have been 2020. Pretty sure. To be honest, I think this is 2020, this is 2021, because I feel like I did this recent. And my handwriting shows that too. This is 2020, this is 2021. I like skipped around because I think I wanted this to come out, this layout to come out for their birthdays. So these are my baby cousins. I know I said nephews earlier, but family tree, like actual technical term would be that they are my cousins, and they call me Auntie Becca, and this is when they were much younger, obviously. And I think this is the Wild at Heart kit from Citrus Twist, along with a lot of really fun sequins. This is 2021, I think so, or 2020 possibly. But it was 2021 because I posted it for Revenge of the Sith. Or 6th, Revenge of the Sixth back in May. So that was done this year. This was done this year. So now we're straight up all 2021. So from here, not here, on, it is all 2021 scrapbook pages. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 29. So 29 spreads. From this point on, we're done this year, starting probably, this was like back in May, but then I like took another long break and then started back up in September because I did this almost to the date, actually, because there's like a note on the back of this, I think, on the back of that tag with like some secret journaling about the fact that I finished this layout on September the 15th of 2021. So yeah, it's kind of wild that I would do that. But from this point on, it's like steady, more scrapbooking. And kind of, I developed like a system of sorts. It started, I want to say it kind of started from here, where I knew I wanted to use Sweet Story because it had like things about like craft rooms in it. And then when I saw this, I think I had just gotten like my hole punch, like my first like little Fiskars like star punch. And I was really excited to use it, and I liked the project pad that came with Hey Hello, and it was bright, and a lot of these photos were like really dark, but I knew they would work. And then I started theming things so that like I would look, and I guess I had always kind of done that. Like I'd put a Post-it saying like, okay, these photos make me think of that collection. It was very rare that I just like looked at it and I was like, I don't know what to do with it. I keep not talking about stuff. So this is my craft setup at the first apartment I had. We had turned the dining room into a craft room, and like this really super weird photo was like a tool that you could use on the computer that would show you like where you could like set up your fake craft room before you you basically could build it out and see it before you actually bought all the stuff. And then This is my friend Brent. So the same guy from the beginning. His band had a show, and then I went and saw my mom in Atlanta for my sister's birthday. And then this was game night for a Georgia Alabama game. So we did that and just went to the bar. Now it's just making me really want an Angry Orchard. Then we go into the very next day. We left for Halloween Horror Nights and our Universal trip. So I bought a ton of stuff so that I would have a wider Halloween collection. So if you haven't seen the video, I already put it up. I think the way I'm organizing these videos, and I'll attach it. That's what I'll do. I'll just go ahead and attach it and kind of line these up correctly. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably for the best. Of the organization I did when I got to the October, because at this point, when I start scrapbooking these photos, I was getting ready to go on my 2021 trip. So I also just realized that my verbiage is a little strange because I'm still learning that we are officially in 2022. So when I started to scrapbook these pictures, I was getting ready to go on my 2021 trip with Taylor. And I really wanted to have new product when I got home, and I really wanted to start using some new stuff too. So a lot of that is the spooky collection. I think I have Hey Pumpkin at that point, and I hadn't done the big purchase yet. I had a good haul of stuff though that I had collected. This is just a cute little shopping bag from the local articles boutique, which is actually no longer there. This is the first year I've not seen it. I need to get a new reinforcer and put it back. Something that made these spreads really special is that, and scrapbooking them was special. It was Halloween Horror Nights 25, so it was their 25th anniversary, and this is the map from that year. And what made this super fun was that when Taylor and I went this year, it was in 2021, it was the 30th anniversary. It started the same year I was born. So it turned 30, I turned 30. There was something just magical about that. So I had fun getting all this down on paper. We met his aunt and Alfie's aunt and uncle there, so there are pictures there. I know it's kind of dark, so it's hard to see. And then this was our first day there. We got up and hit the parks, so lots of characters and things like that. Red Brick Pizza Oven is one of my absolute favorites. Or is it Red Oven or is it Red Brick? I know I put it in there. Red Oven. It's just Red Oven. Pizza is one of my favorite pizza places. Taylor and I actually ate it twice on our trip. But this is our first beginning of the day and just kind of getting out and about. And one thing that I do advise, and side note, if you guys would like me to do a specific scrapbook your trip series, I would love to do that. I would love to take all the photos and do that, and kind of break down how I prep beforehand. I know I have a video on here that's super old that was right before we took this trip that I posted, but that's really, really, really old, and obviously things have changed now with the pandemic and stuff like that. But how to prepare, how to plan, how to memory keep through that, and then the actual memory keeping process. Let me know if you guys would be interested in some form of that. I would love to do that. These are just super quick photos of us in these super silly glasses. We didn't even buy them. I was just obsessed with them because they were cute little minion goggles. So we just took some silly photos and then put them back, and kept moving. But this is the She's Magic collection, and it just was so light and airy, and I loved it. This here, I am going to move this a little bit and hopefully not mess up too much. This is probably one of my favorite photos that I've ever taken in the parks. I have a few. I actually did this one on Instagram Live. But it's not like the, you know, the spread that beat the bank kind of thing. Like, I love the spread because, like, I typed up all the writing on vellum so that I could put it like wherever I wanted, and it would act kind of like a sticker of sorts, and it wouldn't get lost. I did cut out all of I made my own ephemera essentially for this one, but that's just one of my favorite photos. It was just the perfect timing, and so I kind of just write about that. But it's definitely one of my favorite little moments of ever going on the trips. Looks like I've got some stuff trying to slide out of here. Goodness gracious. These are from Diagon Alley. I want to say, I don't know that Diagon Alley, I know for sure Diagon Alley wasn't open at night the first year that we went. But I still stand by that seeing Diagon Alley at night is one of the most beautiful things to see. So if you ever are at Islands of Adventure in Universal, make sure you do that for sure. And then there's a wall. I took Taylor's picture this year, or in 2021, and so I actually just scrapbooked that last night. I'm filming, just so you can have like some reference, I'm filming this on January 1st. So like, bear with me as I like move my times around. I'm just trying to film as much as I can. My boyfriend and his brother are both under the weather, and I am expecting to possibly catch whatever they have. Just kind of the nature of the beast. By the time everyone figured out they were sick, we had all been around each other too long to know. We're all trying to be safe and responsible right now, but I'm also just trying to kind of prepare for if I go down that I've got some content for a little while and I don't have to stress about it. Then we kind of get into Hogsmeade photos. One thing I don't love are these really bulky, I still have them here. These embellishments that I got are really, really fun and great, but they're so thick. They're so thick. If I can figure out a way to deconstruct them, I definitely will, but they're on some very thick, puffy foam backing for sure. I wonder where these hearts came from. Gracious, they're thick. So there's some thick chipboard in here as well. I know some people do care about the bulk of their album. I really just care if the pages start to warp really crazy, like in where the pockets really struggle, and that definitely happened with this. So now we're kind of in Hogsmeade. This was a very hysterical moment because my favorite ride is Hulk. I think I replaced that in 2021. I don't know. Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure might be taking number 1 now, or Velocicoaster. Those are both like, I don't know, but Hulk kind of, it's fighting for its status. I should do a bracket. Essentially, it was getting refurbished and we missed the closing by like about a week. So that was really depressing because that's literally one of our favorite rides. My baby cousin nephews, they were still young enough at the time to think that I knew Spider-Man. So I would go meet Spider-Man, get my picture taken with him, and get him to sign something. I would send them the picture and encourage them to, instead of like, not that they didn't believe in Santa, but they believed that Spider-Man was sending presents. So that helped mom out, keep them in line, like, hey, Rebecca's going to see Spider-Man. You don't want him to, know you guys have been bad, or, it was just kind of like an extra Santa layer. So that's kind of fun. I think this is the last year that really happens because I moved and they are getting older. So that's kind of special to look back on. Again, it's not just the bad stuff that you're scrapbooking through. Like, that's the last year I probably gave them presents from Spider-Man. And I know that now, like, looking back, I don't know that it happened again. So it's really important to me. I feel like I'm losing my voice, so sorry if it's like crackling or being weird. I really like how this one turned out. This is using the, what is it? Something in Ivy. From Pink Paisley. indigo ivy. Is that it? Indigo something. Indigo ivy, maybe? Indigo and ivy, I think, is the name of that collection. But it worked really well with all of the Bobaton uniforms. I thought that was really cute, and just kind of fleckling, is that a word? Putting these cute little butterflies in this little butterfly. They don't have like good sticks, so like I need to really go back and like flip for maintenance and then put it on the shelf. That's so crazy that it's done. Then okay, so this was a little kooky. So there were monks, Buddhist monks, at the end, like watching the end of the Jurassic Park ride where like the splash zone is, and no shade, nothing wrong with it. I never seen anything like that before, so I had to take a picture. I thought that was something special. That's what I wrote, and it was real life. It was very different. So this is cool too. So Dragon Challenge no longer exists. Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure is where that lives. So I have, if you look, you can see the coasters in the background. But that was not the last time I rode that. I went on to ride that in 16, and that was my last time on that ride, and I can't wait to go through those photos, and I know my friend Jordan's very excited for me to scrapbook them when I get there. But these are just like cute little photos of us leaving Hogsmeade and going into Jurassic Park area. The Reign of Kong wasn't open yet either. It was coming soon, so it was like fun news. Toon Lagoon, and they took these down, so this is weird. I didn't see them this year. I don't know why, but they used to have these like cartoon thought bubbles that you could pose under. And I didn't see them in 2021 when I went with Taylor, and I was really excited because I thought it would be such a cute little photo op for us. I would say about, I don't know if it's here. I don't know. It really may be here at the start of October when I started getting the idea of sitting, and this is part of how I started to knock these out so fast. I would sit down at night when I get home from a long day, and I'd pull out in my little organizer. I have them now, but I have my stacks of cards. I would sit with them and I would go through them and pick out cards that went with the spread. And it was fun because one, I was actually using my stash, and that brought me comfort, but two, it was super easy. It was like almost like playing solitaire or something. Like I'm just sitting there and I'm like, that matches, I don't know. And I'd kind of like make stacks, do a spread or two like that, and then fill in the blanks from there. So I'd kind of use the cards and then look at the thing again, and then I'd think, oh, I know what goes with that. Like I know the perfect pattern paper that I can cut down, or I know the perfect collection that would go with that. Like I think I knew that this was gonna be that indigo and ivy from when I printed the photos, to be honest. And then with other ones I struggled. These are actually all just from kits. I didn't have to cut anything down. These I did, I made like little pockets for the signature cards that I got done so that they didn't take up too much room. I used business cards and kind of created my own filler cards in some cases. Here's that Dear Lizzie again. And then this is like, this is when I kind of got into doing really simple build my own cards, or like filler cards that it didn't have to have something all over it. Like this is actually a pocket to hold more signatures. Like all my signatures from Seuss's Landing are in there, but like my cards didn't need to be super complex anymore, and I was okay with that. Like I built these filler cards out of just the stack. I was just like, okay, what goes with this, like what colors, and then filled in with stickers and things from there. I was really excited that this was Willow Lane, and I think this is the first time I used Willow Lane, and I think I look at that the most when I was working out, because I have like one of those like open organizer blocks that's got like the 4 shelves in it, and one whole block is just like Willow Lane stuff, and I'm obsessed. I've got the cute like Minion Mayhem photos, and I got really sassy. These are all Amy Tangerine embellishments and things. I cut these out from a page of hers. And if you look really close, all this like dash work I did by hand. Like I just did my little like stitch border thing on a bunch of the floral pieces just to help them pop out a little bit. That was really, really fun. The XOXO sign here is like a pocket of sorts, so it's actually holding signatures from all of these characters as well. This is where it does get a little kooky because it kind of had to hop around a little bit. If I had a bigger layout, like a 9x12 or a 12x12. So this is Halloween, which happens at the end. But this is just kind of like a cute, we went out for a date night and he surprised me because I love Halloween. It's like my Christmas. Hence we make a whole trip out of it, and it's like a huge thing. So that happens after the trip, but is just put here because that's where it went to fill the space. Vivo is one of my favorite restaurants in City Walk, and this is actually from that. It's like a brochure thing. I have, if I can find it, there it is. Like more of them. So I like, and they're all 4x6, so they fit in that pocket perfect. So I'm really excited that I'll have a good bit for a little while. I'll have enough to probably do all the trips I've actually gone on and gone to the restaurant. I should have enough. And I love like all the icons being really easy to work with. And then we went to Ben and Jerry's after. This is the next day exploring Borkin and Burke's and Nocturne Alley and riding Gringotts for, I think it was the first time that we rode it. Yeah, because I was like super excited and taking all the photos, but I took photos like throughout the walk, which was really nice, and just kind of journaled about that. And back then they don't do it anymore and haven't for a long time, where you could get your picture taken while you waited in line because the line was so long. And it was just like a little activity to kind of do along the way. These are some really simple spreads. Like I cut all this ephemera out by hand from like the background page that you see up there, and down here again. I did like some stamping. I really just kind of like tried to create my own. And then here I'm just using up my stash and like going through some sticker books. I did end up having to do like a reprint on this photo. Trying to get the good stuff here stamped was a pain. And then on the back of this is where I start watching like a lot of like Lonnie Scraps, and I wanted to try my hand at cutting out the page protectors so that I could play with the interactive part. And this was our last like couple moments in the park before we left, and there's this big thing outside the restaurant, Cowfish, which I've finally eaten at now, but didn't at the time because it's like sushi, and it was sushi and burgers. I've eaten there. That's all we're gonna say about it. But I love that it's like, looks like it's kissing. So I stoop down and do like my little cutesy photo op moment. And then I dug really deep in the stash for this. This is from the Open Book, maybe? Is it from Open Book? I want to say it is Open Book. Like I have the really tiny like 6x6 pad, and enjoyed using that. And then, oh goodness, it's out of the ring. This is where I was saying that I got my little star punch, and I had glitter paper, so I was left unattended and punching gold glitter stars like my life depended on it. And I already had some blue ones, so I just did some more, which was great. And then this is from the Gather collection. I'm a huge Maggie Holmes and Crepe Paper fan, if you cannot tell. Not that hard to tell, but still. Had a blast doing that. This is kind of us finally getting home. So we're done with the trip at this point. And then these are just kind of really random little last minute moments before Halloween. And then Halloween of 2015 with my coworkers. And as you can see, again, lots of cute little stars. These are just kind of like bright orange and super fun. Nothing too crazy. Using my label maker a little bit. Okay, so that is the album. Just kind of chatting through what I see for 2022. So the way it stands right now is I have started documenting the 2021 trip, but I am alternating where the content goes. So I do one layout that I film for YouTube and then one layout that's live, and I alternate between which live. So it'll be film one for YouTube, Instagram live, film one for YouTube, YouTube live. So the lives are alternating as of right now, and I'm gonna keep that up as long as I can, while also starting weekly videos. So I am going to be doing Project Life weekly, which means that at the end of the week, I will scrapbook those photos. It will most likely be double page layouts, so front and back or open. I'm sure certain things will throw that off kilter and we'll go along for the ride with that. Like if I add in like full page spreads and stuff, we're just going to kind of go. I don't know that I will necessarily film everything either, if that makes sense. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. So let's just say birthday. If it's the week of my birthday, I'll probably like put some photos in there, but if I end up doing a 12 by 12, I may not film it. I may not. I'm just trying to keep it as clean and clear as possible that this is my intention. This is where we've got some gray area because I don't want to overcommit. So that's how I'm going to match up October of 2021 into the weekly. And once we hit that bracket, then I'll decide what happens with this because I'll be current from that point on. So I don't know if I'll go back and start doing the 2016 or do something else for a little bit. We'll see where we land. But that's just kind of the flow that I've got right now. Trying to think of anything else. Recommendations for how to catch up, or how I've been doing my process. I've talked about this in another Project Life video before, which is I print the photos and then I sit down with the cards. Unless I immediately look at the photos and know the collection, sometimes that does happen where I don't even need to go to 3x4 card land or go through my stash, but most of the time it's like more everyday moments lately, so I can sit down, go through my stash. I usually try to go through a kit if I have one, like a current kit. That's really what I'm going to be doing. I know things are a little wonky right now because all of the Allie Edwards January stuff are getting delayed. So basically I'll get January and February kits at the same time. That being said, okay, hold on. I'm going to finish one thought at a time. So first things first, I will probably consult my kits first when doing the weeklies and then pull from my stash. But I just sit down at night and just kind of play with the cards. And I have full intention to do that even before I film. Just kind of like to prep for the week and just also kind of have some quiet time to myself because it's been working really well for me to just sit down and be very therapeutic and go through them. I've been trying to destash a lot of the older kits that I have into my organizer as soon as I get the space. So I'm constantly filling it with newer things, even though they're really, 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 really old things. So I sit down and kind of create that rough page, and then I set it on my craft table, and I kind of just start pulling embellishments over the course of, it depends. If I'm really in the mood, then I can do it super fast, but sometimes it might take a day or two if I'm working and I have a lot. I just leave it out so I can kind of look at it, and I'll think to myself, oh, that one little embellishment. So it kind of helps me use my stuff, but remember the scope of my stash too. I think that's it. I know I had a random thought. Oh, okay. I am going to be doing a video for a February kit that I built. I have a ton of February stuff and lovey-dovey stuff and Valentine's stuff, and I wanted to pull it all out of my stash and try to get through a bunch of it. So I'll have a video up with that. I don't know if I'm going to wait for my actual February kit to get here or not before I film it. Probably not, because it'll obviously be a part of that. But I want to just talk about the de-stash side of things for a little bit. So I'll have a video on that. Obviously, I know a lot of you hang on for the planner videos, and those will be coming out as well. I'll have a February plan with me. Also, please let me know in the comments when you started scrapbooking, if you do pocket pages or scrapbooking or anything like that. When you started, how's it going? Any struggles that you may have that you have a question about, I'm happy to share my guidance. Or, sure, you can bounce that off of me. Maybe somebody else would have the answer too, and you can just kind of put it out there. Also, let me know what you guys would think about a live stream for planning. I'm thinking maybe March for that, but otherwise, I hope you guys are all enjoying a new month and a new year and doing well and are happy and healthy. Until next time, happy crafting, planning, creating, whatever floats your boat. Thank you guys so much for all the support you give. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Mwah.